Hi, in this video we'll be looking at OBS, basically the best software for YouTubers and streamers. I'll cover what is it, how to use it, and what are the best settings. OBS stands for Open Broadcaster Software. It's an open source streaming program, but its video side is also excellent. Downloading and installing it is super easy. Just search for OBS on your browser. It's the obsproject.com, and from here just download it. Once you open OBS, you'll see a screen like this. In my opinion, it's quite easy to use. This big black area is your screen. There's nothing there yet, that's why it's black. Here we have our scenes and our sources. Sources are the stuff that we will put, basically our screen, our gameplay, our face cam. Now, one thing that I want to add is the docs panel from here. If you somehow miss something, you're like, wait, where is my sources, for example? It might be because it's turned off here. It might look like this. All you have to do is come to the docs and just enable it from here. And then you can reposition it however you like. Or if you don't like it, for example, you can just come to the docs again. Not the docs, the view, and reset UI. In my opinion, it's pretty simple to use. So which settings gives us the best results? From the settings, you want to come to the output and the recording. First, I want to talk about the recording, then streaming. So your recording path is like where you want to save the video files. You can choose wherever you want. Recording format is, are you going to shoot in MKV, MP4, QuickTime? Like, what's the difference? Which one is the better one? There's not a better one. It also depends on your needs. MKV gets you higher quality than MP4, but you might get bigger file size. And if you edit your videos in Premiere Pro doesn't support MKV footage, so it's better for you to shoot MP4. But there's a warning when you shoot MP4 or QuickTime that if for some reason your computer shut down while you're recording, you're gonna lose your footage. You won't be getting it back. But if you're shooting MKV, for example, if your PC shut down while you're recording, it will be saved till the part that you have shot your video. That's why I shoot MKV and I edit in DaVinci Resolve, and DaVinci Resolve supports this format, so it's fine. Something else that you can do is shoot fragmented MP4, which again is MP4, and you can use it on Premiere Pro, but it's fragmented as it says. So when you're shooting, it saves in chunks. Now, I don't know every how many minutes, but let's say 5. For example, every 5 or 10 minutes, it saves your video as a separate file to different video files. So if something happens, you're not gonna lose all the video, you're gonna lose just the last one till the last save point. Checkpoint. Now the video encoder. I'm shooting this video on a Mac, but I'm gonna show on a Windows too, so don't worry, because I'm guessing most of you are watching from a Windows. Anyway, this is the encoder I chose. HAVC is basically H265. I could use AOM AV1, which is the better one, but it uses more resources and just puts more pressure on my Mac, and I don't want that because there's no need. I'm just recording my screen. One advice that I can give you is that don't use software encoder. Always use hardware encoder. It's just better. Trust me. Now let's switch to Windows. Now on the Windows side, these are the encoders that I get. I have an NVIDIA GPU and I want you to choose NVIDIA NVENC H264. Now if you have AMD GPU, I don't know much about AMDs to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. But if you have NVIDIA GPU, 100% use that. Then on the encoder settings, I want you to choose constant QP. Not constant bitrate, but constant QP. That QP rate should be between 16 to 20. Also, let me add this regarding QP, the lower the number you enter, the higher the quality is. So 16 results in higher quality, but larger file sizes compared to 20. Therefore, I think 16 to 22 is a sweet spot. Keyframe interval 0, preset, best quality, slowest, tuning, high quality, multipass mode, 2 passes, and profile high, and we uncheck look ahead. These are the best settings that you should use. Now, if you have a low-end PC, you might try, going good quality maybe if you experience any lagging and dropped frames. Now on the streaming side, again your video encoder should be the same, and on rate control you want to choose constant bitrate, and your bitrate depends 100% on the internet that you have, your upload speed. For example, if you have 10 upload, that means 10,000 kilobits per second. But if you have 10 upload, you can type your 10,000 kilobits per second because that's going to use 100% of your internet, and then you won't have any internet left for other stuff, which going to cause lag. For example, if you have 10 upload, you can give 6,000, 7,000 bitrate. If you want to push it a little, 8,000, but you want to leave some breathing room so that you don't lag when doing other stuff like watching a video, browsing, or playing a video game. The keyframe interval is how much delay you want on your live stream to be. For example, if people are ghosting you, then you want to add some delay. The preset, you want it to be between good quality and best quality, depending again on your computer. Tuning, high quality, profile high, 2 passes, and uncheck look ahead. These are the settings that you need. Now, one last thing, on the stream tab, from here you can connect your YouTube channel or your Twitch channel, which is recommended. For example, my YouTube channel is connected here, so you can stream on that channel directly. Now that I didn't know, like the maximum bitrate on YouTube is 51,000 kilobits per second. That's quite high because on Twitch that's 6,000, meaning that if you give more than 6,000 bitrate on your stream on Twitch, there wouldn't be much difference because that's the maximum that Twitch servers allow you. But on YouTube, you can go up to 51,000 kilobits per second, which that's quite high because you need pretty good internet for that. And I don't have one that fast. Anyway, and on the audio page, just put your bitrate to the highest one possible, which is 320. You just want the best audio that you can get. Obviously, it depends on your microphone, but just put it the highest that you can so you can get the highest audio possible. On the video tab, here we have two resolutions, base and output. The base resolution is the one that you see here. Just put this one to the resolution that your screen is, your monitor is. And the output resolution is the resolution that your video file will be. Now, obviously, I don't want a 5K footage. There's no need for that. I'm just coding my screen again. So I put 2K. Below that, there is a downscale filter, but if you put the same resolution both on base and output, for example, you have a 4K monitor and you want your video to be 4K, you're going to choose 4K on both of them. Then the downscale filter is not enabled because you're just getting what you see. But I'm downscaling and I want Langchos 36 samples. This is the best one and I recommend you use this one. And the FPS is whatever you want. If you shoot a gameplay video, then obviously you want it to be 60. If not, if you're doing a screen recording, then you will be fine with 32. So basically these are the settings that you need to do, but we are not done yet. We also need to adjust our scenes and sources. I'm gonna click here, macro screen capture, that's this one screen, and this is gonna be my screen, display capture. You can choose window capture and choose a specific window to only capture that. You can lock it here from here so you don't move it accidentally like this. The next most common one is to adding your face cam, which you click on this plus icon or right click here and say video capture device. This is going to be your webcam, and let's choose studio display camera. There I am. You can position it, put it wherever you want. And one tip, if you hold option on a Mac or alt on a Windows, you can crop your camera like this or anything in that matter like this. And you can have a square webcam like this. Again on the Windows side. One thing that I want to add here is that adding a game capture. On Mac, I couldn't see game capture, but on Windows, when you click on the plus sign here, you can see game capture. And if you add a game capture and from here, select your video game, which that's what I recommend you to do. When you're gaming, when you have the game on your screen, it will record that, it will detect that. But when you alt tab and switch to your desktop or to your browser or something, it won't show that because you won't have a display capture your screen. So it will show just a black screen or it will freeze on the last frame of your game. That is good, especially when you're streaming. When you're recording a video, you can just cut that in the editing, but when you're streaming and you alt tab and you switch to your desktop, your browser, and you might have something there that you don't want viewers to see. So that's why you should put game capture and not screen recording, screen capture. But you might have seen streamers like switching from one scene to another, like they have one scene which is gameplay, they have their face cam and their gameplay, and then they immediately switch to a face cam or face cam and chat scene. How do they do that? It's very simple. You just add another scene 2. I know, I'm quite creative. And here I want to add my webcam, which I don't have to create a new one, which I already have one. And just like that, I can switch between scenes. It's that easy. And that transition you can control from here. It's on fade, you can put on cut, or you can change the duration, let's say 150. It's a bit faster. And for those who want to stream, you want to use studio mode. Basically, let's say you're on this scene and the viewers only see you, but you want to switch to this scene to show something on the screen, but you have to blur another part of your screen, or you want to cut it out, or you don't want the viewers to see. How are you going to do that without switching to this scene and changing it? You're going to use studio mode. On studio mode, you have two scenes like this. The right one is the one that the viewer sees, and the left one is that you see. So the viewers don't see this scene yet, even though I'm on this scene. Like I can do whatever I want. I can change the position of my webcam. I can crop a part of my desktop, and when it's ready, then I can click on transition, and now they see. Basically, I can make adjustments on a scene without the viewer seeing it while being live. Basically, if you want to stream, that's something that you need to know. Now, just as video is important, so is audio. Here we have our audio mixer, and we have 3 channels, which at the beginning of the video, it was 2. The reason for that is I added my screen, my studio display screen here, and my monitor has a microphone, so it saw that and added that here as a microphone. But here's the thing. Let's say I'm recording a video And right now I have two different microphones and I'm guessing that's not gonna sound good. Then I have to turn it down, or let's say my desktop audio. Like I adjust it here now, but in the gameplay, it might be too loud or too low. Then what I'm gonna do, because if it's just one audio file, then if I change the volume, it's gonna change both the gameplay and my voice. And I don't want that. For that, you have to come here, advanced audio properties. Here you have tracks. And what you want to do is put every audio source on a different track. Basically, I want my microphone to be on track 1. And I want my gameplay, my desktop audio, to be on track 2. And another audio input, let's say it's music, I want it to be on track 3. So at the end of the video, I will have 3 different audio files and I will be able to control them all separately. Basically, you will have more control over your audio. But what if you want to add an audio source, but you don't see it here? How are you going to add it? You click here and you click audio input capture, and from here you can choose the microphone that you want. For example, my headphones. And now I can capture audio from my headphones too. But what if my microphone has too much noise in the background, like too much background noise? How am I gonna get rid of that? Again, it's very simple. You come click here on the 3 dots, you click filters, and here I already have a limiter on my microphone, and the limiter is basically so that my audio doesn't pick. If I shout too loud, it will just, volume it down a little bit. Better for the viewers. But for noise reduction, you click here and click noise suppression, and from here you want to choose RN noise, which is good quality but more CPU usage. So it's heavier on the computer, but it does a better job. If you have a low-end PC, you might want to choose peaks. You can try this and see how it goes. You can choose peaks and choose the suppression level. For a small comparison, this one is my microphone, and when I click something on my keyboard, you can hear the keyboard from the microphone. But if I turn on noise suppression, I have to be very loud so you can hear it. Finally, you've probably seen animations like this on streamers. How do they do that? Like how you can add animations like this? Now for that, I know 2 websites, Streamlabs and Stream Elements. In this video, I'm going to show Stream Elements. Basically, you can come to overlay gallery once you sign in, and from here you can see many overlays. For example, this one, and on an overlay, you get everything like animations, facecam, like webcam overlays, event scenes, ready-made scenes like this, where you can put your screen, your chat, the latest subscribers, your social media platforms, everything, stream starting, stream ending pages, everything. But if you just want a specific overlay, then you come to element gallery. Let's say this one, you click on it, you can see if someone subscribes, if someone donates, if someone becomes a member. All you have to do is click use element, and on this page all you have to do is copy this URL, come to OBS, add a source, and you want to choose browser. Let's say notifications. You want to paste this URL here, but here it says some elements, they have their own width and height. This one needs 600 to 400, so I'm going to do that, 600 to 400, and click OK. And to see if it's working, you want to click customize, and from the view designer where it says, you want to click simulate, choose the event. Let's say someone tipped me, and click simulate, and it's working just fine. It's that easy. Obviously, you have to connect your channel to Stream Elements, so like it gets the data. But yeah, basically that's all. That's pretty much all you need to know about OBS. It's really not that complicated, and I think like it's one of the best softwares that you can have as a YouTuber or a streamer. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, I would appreciate a follow and a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.